Greetings to all. Welcome to Future Officers Academy. Today we are going to see the daily current affairs of June 12th. Today we are going to discuss the topics of WIP, heavy metals in wetlands of Odisha, abyssal plains, Huntington's disease, and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. These are the topics we are going to have detailed analysis of today's session. Our first topic is about WIP. First we have to know about who is whip. So a whip in a parliamentary parlance is a written order that party members be present for an important vote or that they vote only in a particular way. The term is derived from the old British practice of whipping in, that is, lawmakers to follow the party line. The importance of a whip can be inferred from the number of times an order is underlined. Now we have to know about their appointment also. In India, all parties can issue whip of their members. Parties appoint a senior member from among their house contingents to issue whips. This number is called a chief whip, and he or she is assisted by an additional whip. In this, there are different types of whips. The first one is one line whip. Here, one line whip is underlined once is usually issued to inform party members of a vote and allows them to abstain in case they decide not to follow the party line. The next is two-line whip. The two-line whip directs them to present during their vote. Next, three-line whip. A three-line whip is the strongest employed on important occasions such as the second reading of a bill or a no confidence motion and places an obligation on members to the party line. Next is defiance of whip. In this, India rebelling against a three-line whip can put a lawmaker memberships of the House at the risk. The anti-defection law allows the Speaker or Chairperson to disqualify such a member. The only exception is when more than one-third of legislation votes against a directive, effectively splitting the party. So that's all from the topic of whip. Our next topic is heavy metals in wetlands. So under this we have to know about what are the heavy metals, whether they are essential or toxic, so their sources and wetlands in metals in wetlands, how they enter in the human body, also about their toxicity. High levels of cancer causing heavy metals such as lead and chromium have been found in 8 wetlands in Odisha. Naturally, it is found in Chandaneshwar, Chilika, Dirangwadi, and Koraput. In man-made, it is seen in Bhadrak, Hirakut, Talcher, and Titlakar. Now, what are these heavy metals? Heavy metals are defined as metallic elements with a relatively high density compared to water. These metals occur naturally in earth crust, but human activities like industrial process, mining, and burning fossil fuels have increased their release into the environment. Heavy metals cannot be destroyed by biological degradation. Now, it is whether essential or toxic. Depending on their concentration and the specific metal, heavy metals can either be essential or toxic to living organisms. First, the essential heavy metals. Heavy metals such as copper, zinc, and iron are essential micronutrients living organisms require in trace amounts for biochemical and physiological functions. Example, iron is crucial for oxygen transport in hemoglobin and zinc for enzymatic reactions. Now, toxic heavy metals is heavy metals like lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, and chromium can be toxic to living organisms even at low concentrations. They can cause a range of health problems such as cancer, neurological damage, kidney and liver damage, reproductive problems, developmental problems in children. Now, what are the sources that heavy metals in wetlands? Naturally, weathering of rocks and soils, volcanic eruption, and forest fires we get in human activities like mining, industrial waste, and agricultural runoff, and urban stormwater runoff. Such are the sources for this heavy metals in wetlands. How these heavy metals wetlands enter into the human body? but through drinking contaminated water, eating contaminated fish, breathing contaminated air such as heavy metals can volatiles from wetlands and enter in the air. Also skin contact with the contaminated water. So with this, we have to know about the heavy metal toxicity. Lead has some kind of toxicity such as mercury, arsenic, and cadmium and other metals. So we have to know all those things. First, in a lead, we could find it enters the atmosphere from automobile exhaust. Lead in petrol is being phased out by introduction of lead-free petrol. Also in battery scrap contains lead. Lead can use irreversible behavioral disturbance, neurological damage and other developmental problems in young children and babies. It is a carcinogen of the lungs and kidneys. Also in mercury in Japan, mass mercury poisoning, that is Minamata disease, was observed in 1960s caused by eating fish from Minamata Bay contaminated with methyl mercury. So mercury kills cells in the body and damages organs, thus impairing their function. Arsenic is also associated with copper, iron and silver ores. It is emitted from fossil fuel burning. Groundwater contamination with arsenic is very common in areas where it is present. Also, chronic arsenic poisoning causes melanosis and keratosis, that is, dark spots on upper chest, back, and arms are known as melanosis. The next stage is keratosis, in which palms become hard, leading to the loss of appetite and skin cancer. Cadmium. Mining, especially in zinc and metallurgical operation, electroplating industries, etc., releases cadmium in the environment. It causes Itai disease, first reported from Japan in 1965, was attributed to cadmium contamination in water and rice caused by the discharge of effluents from the zinc smelter into a river. Also with this, there are other heavy metals which causes toxic to the human such as zinc, chromium, antimony and tin enter food from cheap cooking utensils. Preserved food stored in tin cans also causes contamination by tin. Zinc is a skin irritant and affects the pulmonary system. So that's all from this topic. Our next topic is about abyssal plains. The term abyssal plain refers to the flat region of the ocean floor, usually at the base of continental rise. Depth variation is usually only as much as 10 to 100 centimeters per kilometer of horizontal distance. They can range as far as thousands of kilometers, forming huge plateaus beneath the sea. These plains are found on the ocean floor, usually off the coast of major continental coastlines. There are significant abyssal plains in the Atlantic Ocean than in any other. Some can be found within the Indian Ocean, but very few exist in areas with the Pacific Ocean. Approximately near 40% of Earth's ocean floor is covered by these plains. The largest plain on the Earth is called as Plain. The abyssal plain, largest plain is Plain. This plain can be found in North Atlantic Ocean. These plains occur at depths greater than 6,500 feet to 2,000 meters below the sea level and are underlined by oceanic crust composed primarily of basalt, a dark-colored volcanic rock rich in iron and magnesium silicate minerals. The basalt is covered by layers of sediment deposited by deep ocean turbidity currents and shells of marine plants and animals that have fallen down from the ocean's upper levels or a combination of both. Other minor components of this plain sediment include windblown dust, volcanic ash, chemical precipitates, occasionally meteoroid fragments. The scattered across these plains are abyssal hills land underwater volcanic peaks called seamounts. On the other side, the plain is usually an oceanic range with the seafloor dramatically plumates. So that's all from this topic. Next topic is Huntington disease. It is an inherited disorder that causes nerve cells in parts of the brain to gradually break down and die. It has wide impact on person's functional abilities and usually results in movement, thinking, and psychiatric disorders. There are two types of this disease. One is adult onset and the second is early onset. In adult onset, it is the most common. Persons with the form usually develop symptoms in their mind 30s and 40s. It also, in early onset, it affects a small number of people and begins in childhood or in teens. Now, what are the causes for this disease? A genetic change in the HTT gene causes this disease. The HTT gene makes a protein called Huntingtin. This protein helps your nerve cells, that is neurons, function. The normal HTT gene contains a stretch of DNA that specifies the number of times the amino acid glutamine is repeated in the HTT protein. This number varies from 11 to 31. The mutant versions of HTT gene, this stretch is expanded to encode 35 or more repeats. As the number of repetition increases, the severity of Huntington disease increases and its deletion begins at an early age. It is rare. Disease is passed down through families. Now, what are the symptoms for this disease? It usually causes movement, cognitive, and psychiatric disorders with a wide spectrum of signs and symptoms. The patient suffers from mood swings, has difficulty in reasoning, shows abnormal and uncontrollable jerky movements, and experience difficulty in speaking, swallowing, and walking. Now, what treatment can be done for this disease? There is no cure for this disease. There is no way to stop the disease from getting worse. The goal of treatment is to slow the symptoms and help the person function for as long as possible. That's all from this topic. Our next topic is about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. In this, we have to know about what is the scheme says about and their Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban and Gramin. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is the credit-linked subsidy scheme initiated to provide affordable housing to low and moderate income residents across the country. The newly formed government has approved the proposal to provide 3 crore additionally rural and urban houses under this scheme. The scheme has two components, that is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. Under urban, it says that it would provide housing for all in urban areas. The beneficiaries are economically weaker section, that is EWS, and low income groups LIG, and middle income groups. So this subsidy scheme says that credit linked subsidy scheme so offers interested subsidy on home loans and EWS, LGI, LIG and MIG categories into slum redevelopment. It utilizes land as resources to provide houses to eligible slum dwellers. Next is affordable housing in partnership. Promotes partnerships with public and private sectors to provide affordable housing. Now, beneficiary led construction. It provides financial assistance to individuals to construct or enhance their own houses. Under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, it says that it to provide a pucca house with the basic amenities to all rural families who are homeless or living in kacha or dilapidated houses. Here the beneficiaries are identified using the socio-economic and caste census, that is SECC under 2011. Now the futures is first the financial assistance rupees 1.2 lakh in plain areas and 1.3 lakh in hilly difficult and integrated action plan areas. The construction is houses are to be constructed by beneficiaries with technical assistance from the government. Next, convergence with other scheme encourages convergence with other scheme like Swachh Bharat Mission for toilet construction and MG Narega for wage employment. So that's all from our today's topic. To read this document, you can visit our website. Our website link have been provided in the description. To get more daily current affair videos, follow our YouTube channel or our Telegram channel. Thank you.